If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.
Segment number 2 with Thursday Night Live, presented by Bud Light and Fremont Mortgage. We're out here at the Grill at Harriman House in Reisterstown on WNST. You can go ahead and make some noise again. Dennis Pitta's here. Joe Flacco's here. Yeah, there was more applause for Joe. I'm just going to be honest. There was more applause for Joe. It's the way it is.
That's okay.
I'm really excited because Dennis got a love letter during the break. And I don't mean to embarrass the person, but I'm going to read it. I'm going to read it. Matea, please don't be jealous. It says, Dear Dennis, my name is Cameron. I am 9, and I live in Maryland. I love to hunt. Maybe you will remember me. I think it says remember, but I'm pretty sure she meant remember.
Yeah, I think so. Because
I was the one who gave you the napkin that my sister Cassidy wrote. It said, I love Dennis Pitta. He is hot.
She's 9, isn't she?
Well, no, she said her sister wrote it.
Oh, her sister.
Her sister wrote it, so I don't know.
I do remember that napkin, by the way. Yeah, we were at McFalls.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember
that. Wow. Well, I remember you. You signed my teddy bear. That night was fun. Heart, Cameron R. It's a very... And P.S. Can you tell Ray Lewis to get better soon?
I will do that.
I mean, now he probably will too. Now that Cameron said it.
Well, I'll let Ray know that.
That's very sweet, right? That was a very sweet.
Very nice. Thank you, Cameron.
And Cassidy. All right. We were talking in the first segment about clinching the AFC North, and you guys were talking about the taste of losing the couple of weeks leading up to that. In a way, having done this back-to-back years, is it sweeter, Joe, I'll start with you, is it sweeter because of what you guys have had to go through this season? The number of injuries, the tough stretch leading up to it. Is there, I don't know if there's a way to quantify that, and you'll probably tell me, nah, there isn't. But is there a way you can say it might be sweeter this time around?
Yeah, you're right. I was going to tell you no. You know what? And it's just not, making the playoffs, I think we definitely take it for granted a little bit around here, but I think every year, you can look at certain things and say, man, we overcame that, or this, or, there's so many things that happen throughout a year, and there's so many things that, go into winning a football game, let alone 10, 12, 11, whatever it is. So I think you have to take it for what it is every year, and you have to just keep your head down until it's all said and done, and then you can kind of look up and see what you've accomplished. But I don't think any year is any sweeter than any other one, unless you've won a Super Bowl.
That would probably be a good way to have a sweet year, I guess. Dennis, can you speak to maybe just the notion of defending division title? That everybody's coming to get you. You're playing a more difficult schedule because you got to play the first place teams from the other divisions. That just the nature of how tough it is to repeat as division champion.
Yeah, I think what you just mentioned is the hardest part about being a division champion is your schedule for the next year gets that much tougher. Right. You have to play all the division winners, and so we had a brutal schedule this year, and one of the toughest in the NFL, and so we knew that going in, and we knew we would have a lot of tough games, and we knew this last stretch would certainly be tough. And so I think having gone through what we did go through, losing all those games, it made last game, that much better, I think. Sure. Just getting that win, and having that win really be the one that clinched the division for us, and it just meant a lot, and it was a lot of fun to be a part of.
What was the atmosphere like? Compare last week to this week. Joe, I'll start with you. When I was out there on Wednesday, I did sense there was, and maybe it was a good tension, but I sensed like it was, guys were kind of tight. It was kind of a tight week last week. And then, can you compare that? Maybe you're telling me you're still crazy. You have no idea what you're talking about. But can you compare last week to this week, just being around the building?
It is a little tough, I think, for at least myself, to kind of compare it so much, because you are just really into the thick of preparing for a football game and all that. But I wouldn't say it was a tight or loose thing. I think we always played pretty loose, to be honest. But there was definitely, that sense that we needed to go out there and we needed to play very, very well, and we needed to do it right now. So yeah. there's definitely a little bit of a different tone. I think the way we go about our business and the way we practice and all that is the same. But I'm sure the feeling around the building is definitely a little bit, a little bit less, whatever you want to say it was.
Right. No, I understand.
Than it was last week.
Dennis, somebody came up to you during the first break. They said, "How in the world did you see that ball on Sunday, and that incredible downfield catch that you made?" And I'm going to ask the same question. There were 3 guys on top of you. How did you see the football on that play? Or is this just a case of Joe's so good it didn't matter that you couldn't see it? He put the ball perfectly in your hands.
Yeah, it looks completely different at the end, like when they probably see the TV copy that it did, like developing.
I didn't know there was really anyone even around me. I mean, I knew, because when the ball's in the air, you're not focused on where the defenders are at.
Right.
And to be honest, the tough part about that was the ball did get caught in the lights a little bit, so it was kind of hard to track. But I mean, I knew I had gotten behind a couple guys, and Joe was kind of scrambling to his right, so I was just kind of trying to take it deep to give him, a throw up the field. And when I kind of turned back to adjust the ball, I knew, somebody was probably, trailing me, but I didn't know there was 3 guys there, to be honest. All you can do is focus on the ball in that situation and try to make the catch.
There's 3 guys there, and Dennis, he knew, as I started to scramble right, he knew that he was behind the 2 guys.
Okay.
So you're running out there, and I see Dennis, and he's behind. He's got his hand in the air, so I know he's behind the 2 guys.
Right.
And then at that point, the safety who was actually the 3rd guy that came over on the play. I mean, he was probably in between the hashes in the middle of the field at the point when I threw the ball. So.
It looks a lot it looks a lot tighter to us.
And I mean, it is tight by the time the ball gets there, but I think Dennis realizes that he has the 2 guys beat that are underneath of him, and he probably, to be honest with you, can't really feel where the safety is until after he's caught the ball on the ground. And that's just up to probably me to decide whether to throw it or not. Right. To be honest with you, when the ball was in the air, those safeties, they do a good job of closing, and it did get to the point where I was like, all right, get down already and get in his hands, But I think that was probably the one guy that actually did have chances to defend the play. The other 2 guys were already beat, before the ball was even in the air.
Yeah, and he's the one guy I didn't even know, I didn't see where he was at all. Like Joe said, I was kind of behind the other 2, and knew I, had them kind of in, behind me, but the other guy, I think once I caught it too, he tried to kind of rip it out as he came across, but I didn't even know he was there.
If you love Baltimore sports, you'll love WNST.net.